If I had to pick just one word to sum up this year, it would be pivot. Without question, this was my pivot year. I have no idea what my original word for the year was. Probably something more mundane and maybe even groovy. Might have even literally been groovy, but this year was the pivot year for me. Hi, I'm Liz. I'll tell you about it. This year, I did enough pivoting to where I could probably take up some West Coast swing dancing. I did a lot of pivoting. Actually, sounds kind of fun. I've always wanted to dance. When I was little, I asked my mom about it and taking dance lessons, and she said she wasn't going to waste her money on a klutz like me. Who knows? Maybe I would have been less klutzy if I'd had some dance lessons. Anyways, it's about pivoting. That's what I came to talk about today. Whatever I started my year focused on last year, barely into the month of March, I got diagnosed for the third time with congestive heart failure. Third time in 30 years, 3 decades. And I was presented some choices like 2 surgeries. And I didn't like the options. I didn't like the potential outcomes. I didn't really want to go there. And I felt very rushed, which was my signal to slow the heck down. And I did. And the one person who listens to me is my PA. And I said, hey, can we just slow this down a bit? Can I try making some lifestyle changes? And he said, sure. So I did. I pivoted. For the first time in well over 60 years, I ate beans and I liked them, which was me also having to get over the stories that I was telling myself when I was younger. Now I sit there and get the giggles every time I fart because, why not? Beans, a magical fruit. The more you eat, the more you toot. The more you toot, the better you feel. So bless those beans and eat them every meal. But that was a major pivot. It was a major lifestyle change. I went whole food, plant-based. I gave up pretty much all fats. I do use a little olive oil in my cooking sometimes. And most packaged foods, although during this holiday season with people coming and going and me having to be at other people's houses, I didn't plan ahead this year. Next year I will, but I've succumbed to buying a little bit of processed food just because it's easier and faster, but it is still vegan. So yeah, I'm still doing that. And that pivoting cost me my old stories that were holding me stuck, and it gave me my life and control back. So that was a major big pivot in my life. I'm blessed of that one. My heart is big. It wants to do so much for others. And my other big pivot this year was to doing for me and to doing what I needed for me to be healthy. Some other pivots, I started sweating this year. Okay, the night sweats were always there because I went through hormone replacement, menopause 3 times. But no, the actually choosing to sweat, I started working out and learned how to do some exercises to get my heart rate up to a healthy level and what it felt like when it was unhealthy and too much. And that was another pivot for me, is to deliberate exercise. I've always been a walker, but not a very strong walker here in the last few years. So yeah, I'm doing better with making healthier choices, and that was the other pivot I made this year. This year, my body my lifestyle, be consistent doing for others, and putting everyone else's needs above my own had to come to a screeching halt. I couldn't sustain that. I couldn't maintain that. It was killing me. So that was another pivot I did this year, was to, oh, shame on me, put my needs first. I slowed way the heck down. I've learned to listen more to my body, to trust my body than knowing of my needs to my knowing. Those were all major pivots. I tell other people to do that, but I've not ever been very good about doing it myself. Typical caregiver, right? I didn't fix everything. I didn't finish everything. In fact, I probably have more projects started this year, this time, at this point in this year, than I did this point last year. Maybe. I'm not sure. It's a close call. We got rain today. Just a little bit of sprinkles. Not too bad. 2025, while hard, was also very, very, very growing for me. A lot of good pivoting. Listening to my own needs wasn't enough. I needed to add in the components of curiosity and being open minded and not stuck in the stories that I'd played on repeat for my entire life, pretty much. Like, I'm a klutz. Like, I don't eat beans. When I approach things with curiosity, like, is this possible? Can I eat healthy food and avoid heart surgeries? That was a whole different approach. That was a major pivot. Let's go check out the garden in the rain. This is where it began for me. This back 40. And the oleanders are winning this round, I think. However, I do have some grooviness. I managed to grow a sunflower or two. I've got some sweet potatoes growing in here. I'm not sure if they're going to turn out. They didn't do much above ground. We'll find out what they did below ground. Some of these oleanders are finally actually dying back. A little bit anyway. These little totes. This is my quiet little rebellion to idyllic gardening. They're not the prettiest little thing, but you know what? They feed me. I've got tree collards, I've got dandelion, celery, this huge artichoke that wants to take over everything. I think it's kind of choking out its little buddies. I'm going to have to move them to find better light. Oh. Some of these oleanders are actually dying back. For that I'm grateful. I've not let them discourage me from gardening. Au contraire, I just double down. I don't know why all of this huge artichoke seems to really like it there. It's choking out its little siblings. I'm going to have to move them. Or maybe just move the big one because I've got some beets underneath there. some bok choy. I'm just learning to feed myself from my garden. Got some collard trees, kale, dandelion, celery. Look at this. I even have a sunflower. It's New Year's Eve, and I have a sunflower, or two, or three, or four. No, word's gotten out. The more I play in my garden, as imperfect as it is, the more my neighbors help me out, giving me more totes, giving me more pots. I've scored some umbrellas to turn into trellises. I've got a couple of strawberry patches going. I've got this horizontal one covering up the meter eventually one day with some of these other things. And there's another sunflower. Woohoo! Here's my vertical strawberry patch. And over here, I have a couple of them on this water tower that I scored this year. It's like the more I play in the garden, the more garden things appear for me to play with. I scored the fountain, the froggy. More umbrellas. I flipped some of these things around in the carport. Made messes and cleaned them more times than I can count. It's currently not clean, is it? Nothing is perfect, but it's alive, mostly. And I am too. Ah, that was a big drop. Some things that worked. Just persevering, being stubborn in all the best of ways. I've learned to cook my own food in healthier ways, growing my food, making space for rest, laughing more. I mean, especially at myself and the ironies and serendipity moments that just seem to pop up out of nowhere. These weren't resolutions I made this year. None of this was. I couldn't even tell you what my goals and resolutions were. What I do know is I did a lot of pivoting. And when I pivoted, I made it a point to align and to agree on that alignment, what that meant for me. When I came to that pivot or die moment, I don't want to make light of that. That was probably the lowest point this year. That was my most frightened point. And here I am, New Year's Eve, celebrating life because I'm stubborn that way. I'm not recovering from heart surgery. It's kind of a journey. It's a work in progress. I'm realizing the way I want to live, what I want to align with, clarifying my values. I'm realizing the way I don't want to live doesn't come from goals. I'm realizing that the way I want to live doesn't come with goals. It doesn't come with check boxes. It comes from alignment. this coming year. There's no next year I will. I'm going to leave it to be open. I'm curious about how I want to live going forward. I'm starting to write some personal agreements for myself. Ways I want to treat myself, my body, my time. Not rules, not goals. More like a living accord. You're ending this year tired, but still hopeful. You're not alone. It's been a fucking exhaustive year, hasn't it? However, you don't have to stay in that. You're allowed to close the year gently and kindly with yourself. Blessings for a groovy, happy 2026. See you next year.